Hi, it's Jamie from Guildbrook Farm, and today we're going to cover our prepper medical supplies. Prepper medical supplies are going to vary greatly from person to person just based on their background in medicine, so whether or not they have CPR training or nursing experience, or whether they're a doctor, whether they can suture or not, just based on their field training, or whether or not they have none of the above. It's also going to vary based on their philosophy in medical in general. So whether or not they believe more in, say, conventional route of medicine, or maybe they're on the more natural path of medicine. And it's also going to vary based on what you're prepping for, because it's virtually impossible to have a medical supply that covers absolutely every incident you can possibly ever think of. So when it comes to our experience, my experience level when it comes to medicine is probably slim to none. I would say I have a lot of first-hand experience when it comes to basic illnesses and injuries. I can do things such as basic sutures, removing sutures. I really would not get into anything like defibrillators or anything like that, even though I did have training in that at one point. I just don't feel comfortable with it anymore. I haven't renewed any of my certifications with that. CPR I've done in the past, haven't done any certifications with that recently. Basic first aid is what I'm trying to say, basic first responder, and then also basic everyday treatments for colds, flus, that kind of stuff. Now, as far as my approach to medicine, my approach is a very holistic approach. So if any of you guys watched my holistic approach to medicine video, you'll know that I take more of a natural approach to medicine, but I am not closed-minded when it comes to things such as antibiotics, which could be the difference between life and death, in my opinion. All right, so when I look at what we're prepping for, I try to prep for the things that are most likely to occur, down to the things that are least likely to occur. And I try to touch on a little bit of everything, but the bulk of what I'm prepping for is things that are most likely to occur, and those are things such as flu, cold, any kind of illness, basically in general, basic first aid, injuries. Those are the things that are more likely to happen, and so the bulk of my medical supplies are going to be focused on that. So this might be a little different than other medical approaches that you see, but the bulk of my medicine is actually in food and nutrition. I go with a philosophy that an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. It is extremely important to me to provide a very healthy meals with very healthy methods of cooking to prevent illness in the first place. So I don't do prepackaged foods. I try to get grass-fed beef as opposed to conventional beef. I try to get free-range eggs as opposed to conventional eggs from poultry factories. I try to get antibiotic-free meat whenever possible. As far as vegetables, if I can't grow it myself, then I try to buy as organic as possible, even though I don't necessarily buy into the fact that everything marked organic in the store is actually organic. So I try to grow as much as I can here. I try to put as many nutrients into the soil as possible so that the food that we're eating is nutrient dense. So as you can see, the bulk of my medicine is actually in our food, and it's very, very important that we eat a very high quality diet to prevent getting sick in the first place. So that is building up the immune system to prevent illness. That's my number one thing when it comes to medical supplies. All right, so what happens if we do get sick? I'm gonna take you up here to my little medical pantry and just show you what I have in here. So assuming we get like colds and flus and that kind of stuff, the next thing that I turn to is homeopathy. If you guys don't know what homeopathy is, I'm going to leave a link to our homeopathy overview video. This works really well for us in helping the body to fight off any kind of illnesses or even anything such as bites or stings or that kind of thing, pain. I used it when I got my burns. This would be our next approach. I also carry things such as activated charcoal for anything such as stomach illnesses or gastrointestinal issues or poisoning. I do keep some conventional medicines on hand, such as ibuprofen, acetaminophen, and also some histamines, antihistamine medicines for anything that might come up in that area, although I can tell you that I don't remember the last time that we used this, but this is more for emergency use only. Now I have a bunch of first aid kits all over the house. Some of them I've assembled myself, other ones that I bought as a kit. We're going to go through a couple of them here. I can't go through all of them just because they're everywhere, and this video would be like 2 hours long. So for someone just getting into first aid, or for someone that just wants to have something quick to throw in their vehicle, getting one of these pre-arranged kits is the way to go. This is one that was sent to us by GRM, and so this kit is actually really good for, say, throwing in your truck or your car. It has things such as a compass, glow stick, scissors for cutting bandages. This is actually really good. This is a CPR mask, a disposable CPR mask. Something that's really kind of hard to find in first aid kits is a rescue blanket, and that's why this is really good for a vehicle. Another thing that makes this really good for a vehicle is a disposable poncho. How many times have you been caught out in the rain, need a poncho if you need to hike, or if you run out of gas and have to walk alongside the road? And the fact that it's orange makes you very visible. So this is really good. Disposable gloves, bandages, regular band-aids, ice pack, and then you have an assortment of sterile bandages for different things such as eyes or wherever the injury may be, like larger pads for like knees or chest. Sting relief pads, alcohol prep pads, and antiseptic wiping pads. Broken arm, you need a sling. It has a triangular bandage in it along with some pins. Some Q-tips for applying any kind of medicines or cleaning out wounds. And then you just have your basic toolkit here, such as tweezers for pulling out splinters or ticks, some more safety pins, and a whistle, which is kind of really handy. And then you have some tape as well. So this is a 130-piece kit. It's extremely affordable. You can buy a bunch of these and just stash them around your house and your vehicles. And they're really handy to have. And actually, the folks over at GRM gave us an extra one that we are going to be giving away to somebody that wants it. So if you guys want to stay tuned to the end of this video, we're going to tell you what you need to do in order to sign up for that giveaway. This here is actually our chicken kit, chicken, goats, first aid kit. But it also serves people as well. So you can see that we have a variety of things in here for cleaning out wounds or for dosing medicine. We have some Pedialyte in here, bandages, vet wraps, sterile solution. We have some pads in the bottom. We have some nail files for such as filing down a beak or something. Scissors, hemorrhoid ointment for chickens that might have prolapsed vent, blue coat, and then of course, you know, like I said, alcohol, peroxide, some baby aspirin, and some leaky betadine that should actually be in a plastic bag. The Tiracin, nail clippers. So this would be a kit that I have that's, again, for the chickens or for goats, but this, obviously a lot of these can be used on people as well. So this is another kit that I had assembled that we have for first aid for around the house. And this here is another kit. So this would be for more extreme circumstances. And this is something that I have the least amount of experience in, so it's my smallest kit. But we have some like clamps for clamping off arteries, snicking bandages, quick clot, trauma pack for gunshot wounds or anything of the sort, iodine patches. We have monofilament with needles on it for sutures. We have trauma wound hemorrhage bandaging. I think this is an Israeli bandage. Light straw, Luminade for light, potable water, magnesium rods for starting fires. And then for the most extreme circumstance you can possibly ever think of, we have some iostat, which would be for any kind of nuclear event. You know, it's just worth having them in there because you just don't know. But this would be a kit that we have for more extreme circumstances. Obviously, it's the smallest of all of our kits. I don't have anything for such as opening up airways or anything like that because I really just don't have experience in that area. So I prep for things that I'm going to be able to do myself, and as my experience grows in those areas, I will add on to these kits. So one major thing that we don't have in our medical supplies is antibiotics. Now I've gone back and forth as to whether or not to buy them, but there are a couple reasons why I didn't. One is because they're really hard to get. You have to have a prescription to get any kind of antibiotics unless you go the route of buying something such as fish antibiotics. The second reason is they are very expensive, and so they are an investment if you are going to get into them. The third is that they have an expiration date, so they become more expensive because you have to keep replacing them if you're not using them because of that expiration date. And the fourth reason why I haven't purchased antibiotics yet is just because I can't remember the last time I used them. I tend to go more of the natural route when possible, and so I just haven't invested that money into them. Now, do I think they're important? Absolutely. I do think that if you have the cash to get antibiotics, if you have the ability to stock up on antibiotics, if dates aren't an issue, having that medical supply as an emergency, I'm absolutely for it. I do think that if you had the cash for it, absolutely stock up on antibiotics. Make sure you have them because in a true emergency situation, they're going to be pretty valuable and worth having. Another thing that you probably noticed that I don't have is a whole lot of herbals. Now I have the basic herbs such as basil and cooking spices, turmeric and stuff like that can be used as herbals. But as far as having an herbal supply, I don't have one. And the reason for that is because I don't have experience in that area. I've been focusing all my attention on homeopathy and understanding that, and I really haven't had the time or resources to go down the herbal path, but that doesn't mean I don't want to. I would love to get into herbals. I think it's extremely important to be able to identify plants, to be able to dry them out, or boil them down, or make teas, or whatever it is they need to do, compresses out of herbals. Absolutely for it, just haven't had the time to do it, but I do think those are important and it is something that I do want to get into. So the third thing that I'm really lacking in would be trauma experience. I don't want to go out and buy a bunch of supplies that I don't know how to use, so I think gaining that experience in trauma emergencies is something that I would love to do in the future. Again, it's a time, money thing, but I do think it's important and it's something that I definitely want to do at some point in the future. So there you go, guys. This is my prepper medical supply overview. As you can tell, I focus a lot more on prevention than I do on reactive medicine, but there's definitely a place for both of those. I would like to know what you guys do. What do you guys focus on? What are you prepping for? And what supplies do you guys have? And of course, I know a lot of you guys are really good at keeping me up to date on the latest medical supplies to have. I'd love to know what you guys think. Leave those down below. All right, let's get to the giveaway. Now, GRM was nice enough to sponsor this video, and they sent us 2 kits. One of them's going to Jeremy's truck, and the other one we're going to give away. If you guys are interested in getting one of these kits, here's what you need to do. Number 1, you need to be a subscriber. Number 2, you need to live within the continental US. Sorry guys, we can't ship internationally. And number 3, you need to leave a comment down below that has #GRMKit. That's #GRMKit. And that way we know that you are interested in being entered for the giveaway. At the end of this week, we're going to do a random drawing, select the winner, and we'll reach out to you and get your mailing address and all that kind of stuff. You guys can order one. Again, these are extremely affordable kits that you can throw in your car, you can throw in your backpack, keep in your house for emergency uses. We're going to leave a link down below in the description to where you can order one of these kits. So if you guys like this kind of stuff, like, subscribe, and we'll see you in tomorrow's video. Good luck on the drawing.